Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our webinar, Get Started with Email Marketing in the Social Age. My name is Jill, and I'm the Training and Education Manager here at VerticalResponse. And today I'm going to take you through email marketing during this very social time. And I'm going to cover some basics about email marketing, some basics about social media, and then how to put that together. This webinar is about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. At the end, there will be time for Q&A. So if you do think of questions along the way, go ahead and type those into the box that you see in your GoToWebinar window, and I will be happy to answer them all at the end of the webinar. One of the questions I get at every webinar that I do, and I am sure I will get this later in this one as well, is this being recorded? And the answer is yes, I am recording this. The recordings are going up right now on our help site. So if you go to help.verticalresponse.com, and I have a slide at the end with that address too, you can see some recorded webinars. Normally we put this up on our website, but we are revamping our website right now, and the recorded webinars are going to be in a different place, so our creative team isn't putting anything up there right now. So for a temporary time, we have the recorded webinars up on the help site, and there's a tab that says webinars, so you will see this one up there probably later today because I have control over that. I will get that up for you guys if you want to come back and take a look at some of the stuff that I'm talking about. So with that, let's take a look at what we're going to do. So like I said, this is going to cover some email marketing basics. We're going to cover some social media basics, and then I have some examples of email and social media together. Together, they can really help your small business get the word out about what you're doing. With social media, you'll have people who are following you who can also help you do that. And then I have a slide at the end that has some resources to help you get started with email and social media marketing. And they're all free. We have tons of free resources for you guys. So first of all, let's take a look at email. So I'm sure some of you on the webinar today are already doing email marketing, but if you're not and you're still trying to figure out how to do it, or even should you do it, these are some reasons why you should be doing some email marketing. There's a lot, and every business of course is different, but there's a lot of information that you can share with your customers, with your readers, with the people following you, that can help keep them around and keep them interested in what your business is doing. So an email is a great way to inform your customers, your potential customers, your donors if you're a nonprofit, on what's going on with your business, what's going on with your organization. Keep them up to date on anything new, anything changing, new people, new products, new services, whatever you're offering. It's also a way to educate, especially if you offer something like a service or you have a software program or something that they need to understand how it works and how to apply it to their own business or to their own world. And email is a great way to get that information across. Including links in your email, and we're going to talk about this, is the way you're going to get clicks in your email. And those links will be leading to, for the most part, to your website or to your blog, or it could be to your Facebook page, but where people can get an idea of what you're selling. They can purchase things from your website. They can make a donation. So clicks are important, and we're going to talk about adding links in your email in a little bit. It's a great reason to talk about your company sending out an email and to stay in front of your audience, and you want to do that. The reason you want to stay in front of your audience is that when the people who are on your list are ready to make a purchase, ready to make a donation, need the service that you offer, you want them to come to you. You don't want them to go to somebody else who offers something maybe similar. So sending an email on a regular basis, and by regular basis I mean you need to mail at least once a month so they don't forget who you are, so they don't forget that they signed up to be on your list. But by staying in front of your audience, they're going to think of you as the person offering what it is they need, and because you're emailing them and you're coming into their inbox regularly, they're going to come to you. An email is also a great way to establish yourself as an expert, and you are an expert. You're an expert on your business, you're an expert on your industry, and you have a lot that you can share with the people who need to use whatever it is that you offer. And emails build relationships. And that's really what you're going for here. You want to establish some kind of a relationship with your customers or with your potential customers, again, so that they continue to come to you when they need what it is that you offer. And establishing that relationship with an email is pretty easy to do. And as long as you include the information that they're looking for, the information that they need or that they expect, then they're going to continue to invite you into their inbox and look at your email. And an email does another thing. Email has a very high ROI. It has one of the highest ROIs for marketing. ROI is return on investment. So for every dollar you spend on your email marketing, you can expect around a $40 return. This was from early last year, so it's probably a little bit different right now. The $40 is probably a little bit lower, but still, it's a very high return on the money that you're investing in your email marketing. So it's, again, a great way for you to build your business. So the next couple of slides, we're going to talk about your email. And I'm going to start at the top and kind of work my way through the content of the email, what you should be thinking about, what you should be including. I have some content ideas for you guys. It's always a hard thing. And then we're going to talk a little bit about social media. So the from label is who you are. CAN-SPAM law says that the from label has to be the sender of the email. For the most part, that is going to be your company name. Most people will recognize a company name before they recognize a person's name. Now, I know a lot of times businesses want to put a salesperson's name in the from label, and you can certainly do that. There isn't a law against it as long as the salesperson is the one that can be contacted in the email. You just have to watch your open rates and see if you see more people opening the email with a company or more people opening it with the salesperson's name. I don't know about you guys, but I can't remember a salesperson's name if I've talked to them just one time. Even if they're my rep at some place, it's hard for me to remember their name if they send an email with their name. If they send the company, it's more likely that I'm going to remember who it is that's sending it, why I signed up for the email in the first place, and so I'll be more likely to open it. And that's really what you want to think about. You know, when your email hits your reader's inbox, what is going to make them want to look at what you've sent to them? So the from label needs to say who you are and why you're sending it, or who you are anyway. And then once you decide what it is, you want to be pretty consistent. Now, this is one of the places in email marketing that you can test. You can test your from label. Like I said earlier, you can test having a person's name in there, or you can test having a company name. But either way, you need to pay attention and see how your audience is responding. The subject line is the next thing we're going to talk about. Now, the reason I'm talking about the from label and the subject line is that these are the two most important pieces of information in your email. And you might be thinking, okay, Jill, you're a little crazy because my content is what's going to be selling them. And you're right, your content is really important, and your content becomes more important down the line when you've established a relationship with somebody and they're reading your email on a regular basis. But in order to get someone to open an email, especially initially, the only thing they have to go on is the from label and the subject line. So you need to spend some time thinking about what's going on in these two pieces of your email that will help get your readers to open it and to see your fantastic content. So the subject line should be something that's interesting. It should be really catchy. It should have something to do with the content, though. Again, the CAN-SPAM law comes in here, and according to the CAN-SPAM law, you can't trick people to open your email. So your subject line has to pertain to the content of your email in some way. You want to keep it pretty short. Most email programs have some kind of limitation to the number of characters that they're going to show you. It depends on the email program. We usually say stick to around 40 to 50 characters in your subject line. you can certainly go over. There are certainly some emails that I get that have the longest email or longest subject lines I've ever seen. You just have to keep in mind that some email programs are not going to show your whole subject line, so make sure whatever is the most important piece of information is in the front of the subject line. Since your from label probably already says your company name, there's no reason to repeat your company name in the subject line. Your readers are already going to see it in their inbox, so the small amount of space you have for the subject line shouldn't be taken up by your company name. And then just some etiquette in email marketing. Don't use all caps because that's yelling online, but it also is something that you can use to emphasize a word. And you'll see in my screenshot here there is the word clearance in that first email that is in all caps. So that's a great way to emphasize, but don't do the whole subject line in all caps. And then avoid overusing punctuation. 1 exclamation point is fantastic. You do not need 15 in there. That just takes up space and it's somewhat annoying to your readers. So pre-header text is something that I talk about a lot. I talk about this in a lot of emails. I write blog posts. I mean, a lot of webinars, presentations, blog posts. I talk about it a lot. But it's something that people don't necessarily take advantage of and oftentimes don't know what I'm talking about. But you probably know what it is. You probably just don't know that it has a name. So pre-header text is basically the first line of text in your email. No matter where it is in the email, the first line of text in a lot of email programs will get pulled up into the subject line. So you'll have your subject and then you'll have your pre-header. So you want to use that first line of text in your email as a way to help encourage people to open your email. But you don't want to repeat what you've already said in the subject line. They've already seen that. So do something that's going to support your subject line, but that's a little bit different so that your readers get another reason to open your email. It's called pre-header text because usually the first line of text is above that header image that's at the top of a lot of emails. So if you have a logo, for example, it'll come above that. If you don't have anything up there, it could be the first line of text that says, "Dear Bob, here's our monthly newsletter." Whatever it is, you want it to work with your subject line. So kind of pay attention when you're setting up your email what the pre-header is going to look like. So I have an example down here, and I have one on the next slide as well. So the from label is there on the left, the subject line is there in the middle, and then on the right is the pre-header text. And you can see in my particular email program, it's a slightly different color, and it's just getting pulled up into the subject line. Here's another example. So this is my Gmail account. I get a lot of emails that I use for examples. And this is the subject line in my inbox. Then it's not just a hobby is the subject line. I'm sorry, this is the from label. This is the subject line. The slightly lighter color is the pre-header text that's getting pulled up into the subject line, and so it reads, it's not just a hobby, it's what you do, it's who you are, it's in your nature. And then when you open the email, this is where the pre-header text is. And you can see this is the header where the logo is and there's some links. That's called a header. And then above it, whatever the first line of text is what's getting pulled up here. Now, if it didn't say it's what you do, it's who you are, it's in your nature, the first line of text would be view online to ensure delivery. And I see that a lot. That's not something that's super helpful for getting people to want to open your email. So if you're going to have this view online link in your email, either make sure you're putting above that your pre-header or move it someplace else so that you have a different pre-header up there. And this is really important for people who are looking at emails on a mobile phone or a tablet on any kind of mobile device, because most mobile phones will show pre-header text when you're taking a look at the email. I know mine does. So in case you were wondering when I said that, there is a huge amount of people looking at emails on their mobile devices. You guys probably do it every single day. I know I do. I do it on the train in the morning. The last number I saw, which was at the beginning of December, is that emails are being read on mobile, or 51% of emails are being read on mobile devices. That means mobile devices have exceeded people reading emails on a desktop. So when you're setting up your emails, again, you need to think that it isn't just for somebody who's looking at an email on their desktop at work. They could be looking at your email on their commute into work. So keep mobile readers in mind when you're creating your email. And this is one of the ways that you can really impact how your mobile readers are interacting with your email. So as I said, we're going to talk a little bit about links. And if you're already doing email marketing, you probably are including links in your email. Let's hope you are. They're pretty important for getting people to do what you want them to do. But you have to think a little bit about your links. The thing I see most of the time when I see people creating emails is that they're not putting enough links in their email. Don't be afraid of links. Don't be afraid of that old myth that you can't have more than 5 links in your email or it'll go to spam. I get asked that all the time, and I don't know where that started, that you can only have 5 links in your email, but it isn't true. So you want your email to be linking to whatever it is you're talking about so that your readers can do what you want them to do. If you want them to make a purchase, if you want them to make a donation, if you need them to download a white paper, whatever you're trying to get them to do, that's your call to action, by the way, whatever you're trying to get them to do with your email. You want to give them plenty of opportunities to do that with a link in your email. So you don't want one link at the bottom of a very long email. People are not going to find it. They're not going to click through and do what you need them to do. So when you're including images, if you have a picture of your new product, link that image. Put a couple of links in the description of that product so that people can go and do what you want them to do. If you're including things like articles or blog posts in your email, links allow you to have a short amount of information in there, and then people can click through to read the rest of that article. You don't want to have a super long email because that's really hard for people's very short attention spans. So by putting just a snippet of an article, you can have your readers see more of what's going on in your email, and then they can decide what it is that they need more information about. Using call to action buttons, like I said, when you're trying to get someone to do something, that's your call to action. What action are you trying to get your readers to take? Using a call to action button can be pretty effective. These are some examples on the screen right now. It says register today, learn more, see the collection. These are links, basically. These are just images. These call to action buttons are just images, and then you link them to where you want people to go. So if you want somebody to make a purchase, you can say buy now. If you want them to sign up for something, register today. Download now. Whatever you want people to do, you can have your call to action button say that. Also, these work a little bit better for your mobile readers. Trying to hit a link with your finger is kind of hard. Trying to hit a button is a lot easier. So if you want to make it easy for your mobile readers, you can have a link within the copy of your email and then use a button so that they can click on it and go do what you want them to do. We have a free button maker. If you go to buttons.verticalresponse.com, you can have your button be whatever color you want it to be. It can say anything you want, and it's free. So you can make your own call to action buttons. You can put them in your email, on your blog, on your website, wherever you need buttons to go. But they can be really effective, and that's one of the things you can see in your reporting once you send out your email, what links people are clicking on. You can see if they're clicking on your call to action button. Again, they are images, so people have to have images showing up in order for them to work, but for the most part, that should hopefully be working for your readers, and they'll be able to click on that button. So I also mentioned images. I've mentioned them a couple times. And you want to include images in your emails if you're not already. They're very engaging. People like to look at images. They help to break up a large amount of text in your email. So if you have a very wordy email, like if you have a newsletter, for example, using images to break up the text makes it easier for your readers to get through the amount of information that you're sharing with them. It makes it easier on their eyes. The thing to remember about images is you need to think about the people looking at them at the other end. So not everyone has high-speed internet. If they're looking at it on their mobile phone, it might be a little slow to load. So you don't want to include a ton of images, if it's really image heavy, it could take a while to load if someone has a slower internet connection, and they may lose patience and move on to something where they can just read what they need. Also, if you have like a really big image, it could take a long time to load. So usually what you want to do is have a balance of text and images. And you don't really want to send an email that's just an image. That can be really hard on your recipients as well. If there's no text and the images are being blocked, they have no idea what's going on in your email, and they'll move on to something else. So we usually say to think of the 80-20 rule. This is a really flexible rule, though, so you don't have to live and die by 80-20. You want to have 80% of your email be text, 20% images. But again, it depends on your business. It depends on what you're sending an email for. If you're an art gallery, for example, you'll probably need more pictures than that. But the idea is that you want a balance of text so that your readers can get the information they need from the text, not just from the images. You can have an image that has like your event information if you have an event coming up. That's fine. Just make sure the text also includes that in case the image doesn't load for whatever reason. Your readers can still get the valuable information that they need. So let's talk a little bit about content. I have 2 slides on this. I think this is one of the hard things for a lot of our customers, or for people who are just starting out on email marketing or even social media marketing, is what do you share? What information do you have that people are interested in? And honestly, there's a lot of things that people really like to find out about. I think the thing to keep in mind is this second and third bullet point on this slide is think about what your audience wants. What is it that they've come to you for? Why are they signing up for your email? Why are they following you on Facebook or Pinterest? What is it that they're looking for? You need to give them that information. They also need to want what it is that you're offering. And normally if they're signing up for an email, for example, you'll say, the sort of information that you're going to share in your content. And then they'll be like, oh, that's great. That's the information I need. And then just be sure you're sending what you promise. But you need to be sending them content that they value. Otherwise, they're going to stop opening your email. They're going to stop paying attention to your posts on Facebook. So you have to make sure that you're sharing the right information with your readers. But I know that sounds hard, but it really isn't. You guys have tons and tons of information that you can share. So one of the things that works great on social media especially, but I also just talked about it for emails, are images. I don't know why those dots are red, but images say a lot, and people really engage in images a lot. If you use Facebook, and we're going to talk about this in just a couple minutes, but if you use Facebook yourself, when somebody puts up a picture, you tend to look at that. And you probably are more interested in looking at a post that has an image in it than a post that's just text, unless it's like your brother or something like that, and then you're going to read what he's posting. But images are really engaging. So including images, and this could be all kinds of things. It could be you have a new product. It could be that you're having an event. So, if you have an event coming up, share pictures of past events where people are having a good time. You can talk about your employees. If you're a nonprofit, you can talk about your volunteers. Maybe you have an employee of the month. Put that person in your email. Why not? People love to know the people behind the businesses that they interact with. They want to know those people, and that there's really people behind the products and services that they're using. So including your pictures in the emails or on posts on Facebook, or your happy employees. Videos are also a great way to engage people. Images are super easy to put in your email. Videos are still a little bit tricky. You have to take a screenshot of the video, and then that's basically a picture in your email, and then you link to the video. Email programs are still behind the times on embedding videos in emails, but that doesn't mean you can't share videos. Again, videos are really engaging, and it could be a video on anything. It could even be just a funny thing that you found on YouTube, but it could also be a how-to video for your product. If you have a restaurant, you can show people how to make people's favorite dish at your restaurant, or it can be like a how to use your product or people who've used your service. There's all kinds of things you can do videos for. But again, it doesn't have to be something that you've created. You can share videos that are related to what you do from another source like YouTube. And infographics are also things people are really excited about right now because people like pictures and short amounts of words, I think, and so infographics tend to work really well. Visually is one place you can find infographics, and you can share them. Most of the time the infographics will say who's created them on the bottom, so the credit will already be part of the infographic. But if you don't see that, just be sure to give credit to any pictures you're using or videos if you're borrowing them from somewhere else. Pinterest is also a great place to find infographics. You can just do a search either for infographics or for specific industry, and there's tons of them because they are an image. That makes them super pinnable. So it's a really good resource. You don't have to have an account to find this kind of information. So if you want to include infographics in your email or something to share on a social network, you can find them there. Charts, if that's something that's particular to your business. If you do demos or webinars, you can share live or recorded ones. And user-generated quotes and testimonials make for really good content in emails especially because people really like to hear someone else's opinion about a product or a service. You can get quotes from your current customers. You can ask for them on your website. You can ask for them when they make a purchase. You can send an email out after and ask, hey, how did that product work for you? How did that service work for you? And ask them to give you a quote, and you can then use that in your email. They're really effective for getting people interested in what's going on with your business. So let's talk a little bit about social media. I've mentioned it on the last few slides because I knew it was coming up. So let's just talk a little bit. You guys probably already know a little. So I had a number for email marketing. I have yet to find any kind of specific number for purchases on social media. It's not something that any of them are currently set up to track. Facebook, Google, Pinterest, even Twitter to some extent have analytics that you can get on how people are interacting with the posts that you're sharing. So you can see, which posts people like better, what they're sharing themselves, so you know what content you should continue to share with them. But as far as a purchase, they don't really track that, although I think they're getting closer. So this is really more, this information I have here from Marketing Profs is a little more about a survey that they had done. But people still will purchase from social media or make a donation if you're a nonprofit. You can have this kind of information on your social feed and people will make a purchase. Facebook is tops in this particular slide. This is from last year. And I suspect Pinterest might have surpassed at this point purchasing because they made a couple changes last year to encourage more purchasing for businesses. But you can see that's a pretty good number of people who can purchase through these different social networks or people who do. I can say I have purchased things from companies I follow on Facebook. There's even one company I follow on Facebook only so that I can see when they have a specific thing I'm looking for, they share it on Facebook. And this doesn't mean that you have to put things on sale, and I hear this a lot, especially from small businesses. You don't have to have a sale every week to get people to purchase. This company that I follow, when they get a new shipment in, they sell yarn and fabric and stuff like that. And when they get a new shipment of certain yarns, they will put a picture on Facebook. It is not on sale. They don't put it on sale. They just say, hey, we have this in. They pick a pretty color and put it up there, and they sell out of it just by saying, hey, this is in. So it doesn't have to be on sale for you to share it. You can just say, hey, look, we have a new shipment of this in, or look, we revamped our line of lamps, and hey, check this one out. Or even if it isn't new, just say, hey, look, check out this product. By putting this kind of thing in front of your customers, it gives them more of an incentive to take a look at what you're doing and maybe make a purchase. Like I said, Pinterest made some changes last year where more of the pins will show, if people are pinning things like a product, it'll show the price of the product and if it's in stock. So if you're putting things up on your boards on Pinterest, you can actually show how much it costs and if it's in stock for people to come and buy it. So Pinterest made some changes that are a little more business oriented last year. So I think if you haven't already started doing some stuff with social media, I think that social media can be a little intimidating for people. It's hard to know where to start. It's just like email marketing. I don't know what to share, but you guys, again, have tons of stuff to share. You need to post fairly regularly, but you have things that you can share with your customers or your potential customers. And you don't have to be on every single social network. There's tons of them out there. You need to be where your customers are, though. That's the thing. With over 1 billion users, Facebook is probably the one that you should start with if you haven't started already. Just because there's so many people there. Your customers are for sure on Facebook. Maybe not every single one of them, but a good chunk of them are, because over 1 billion people have a Facebook account. So you can definitely be sharing information about your business on Facebook. And then it kind of depends on your target audience as to what other ones you want to be on. And I would say you can test them and see how things go. You know, Twitter could be the place for you, and maybe it's not. It depends on the people who are interested in what you're offering, but do some testing and see where you belong. Pinterest is, again, a good place. They've set up a lot of stuff for businesses in the last year to make it easier for businesses to manage what's going on there. But even if you're not on Pinterest, people could be pinning your products on the board, so you really want to be involved in that. And again, even if you're not on the social networks, there are people talking about your business. There are people talking about your industry, so you should be part of that conversation. But find the ones that are going to work best for your customers, and then you just need to spend time on those. Like I said, Facebook is probably the one. If you have a younger demographic, Twitter tends to be the place to go. If you're looking for women as your demographic, Pinterest has a huge amount of women who are using it. But it doesn't have to be necessarily a female type of thing that you're offering, because women buy things, so they could be buying it for men. So if you have things that are more male oriented, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be on Pinterest. There are men there, and there's a lot of reasons to be on Pinterest. So just pick a couple of platforms and then start sharing your information and follow how it goes. So again, it's just like email marketing. You don't have to start from scratch. It doesn't have to only be specific information that you're sharing. Your content is going to be really important to your readers and followers, but you can share other things. And social media marketing is a good place for you to share other things that are interesting. So if you're following a good company on Facebook or on Twitter, you can share their content. You can share blogs that you've read. I mean, things that you would share in your email, you can also share on Facebook. Again, content is super important. If you don't put much information out very often, or if you don't have good content, people aren't going to pay attention to what you're doing. You need to post often, and I will talk about what often means when I dig into the different networks a little bit. But if you don't post very frequently, again, people are not going to see the information that you're sharing, and so you're not going to get very good traction in that particular network. So you can share your emails on social media. That's actually pretty easy to do with anyone. It doesn't just have to be VR, but we have ways for you to do that. Sharing videos and photos are really important, especially if it's Pinterest. That's pretty much all you can share there. But even on Facebook or Twitter, videos and photos tend to be the kinds of posts that get more traction. If you're having a sale, if you're having an event, those are the sort of things you can talk about, especially if you're having an event. You can talk about it a few times a week if you need to get people interested to sign up for your event. If you're having a sale, again, mention it more than once. It doesn't have to be a one and done kind of thing. You can talk about it as often as you want to get people to partake in whatever you're asking them to. So let's kind of dig into some of these a little bit more. So Facebook, you can use your email to get people to like your page. Now, you can include information within the body of the email that you normally send, and we're going to see some examples in a few minutes. But you can also send out an email specifically asking people to find you on Facebook or any of your social networks, and there isn't any reason not to do that. I actually recently wrote a blog post on our marketing blog about social invite emails, inviting people to find you on social media. They can be really effective, and you can send them pretty regularly because as you grow your email marketing list, you'll have new people who may not be following you. And the first time you sent the email, they may not have done it anyway, but their interests change. People's interests change all the time, so it could be now is when they want to follow you on Facebook. Again, Facebook is a good place to share pictures and videos, and they have a very special algorithm going on there. And the more pictures and videos you share, that tends to get your post seen by more people, because those are the posts that people tend to engage in more. So you'll also get more engagement with that. Including coupons or specials will work for Facebook. Ask questions, and actually this is a really good one for Facebook. Ask questions of your followers and they'll answer you. It's also a good way to get your followers to interact with each other. That's kind of the cool thing about Facebook, is that it can almost be like a forum where people can come and talk to other people who are interested in your business. You need to post regularly, and as I said, this is true for all of the social networks that you're using. Because of the algorithm that Facebook uses, no matter how often you post, it'll be tough for people to see all of your posts. So you can post more often if you want to, but I wouldn't do it all at once. That's one thing that's really annoying. There's some people I follow who will do like 5 posts all in a row, and then my whole feed is just that company doing their posts. So spread it out a little bit. Even if you're going to post a couple times a day, spread it out a little bit. But I would say posting regularly would be a couple times a week on Facebook. And you can do it more often. And the more often you do it, the more of your followers will be able to see your posts and engage. And like I said, the content doesn't have to only be your content. You can share, especially if you're following someone else on Facebook that has interesting content that you think your readers will enjoy. You don't have to write every single one of those posts that you do. Facebook has some pages specifically for businesses. So if you go to facebook.com/business, you'll see some of the information they have. They do have analytics that are included with your page, which gives you lots of information about how people are interacting with the post. So you can see what your followers like the best and keep giving them that kind of information. Twitter is similar to Facebook in the type of content that you can share. You can share the same kind of stuff, and again, images and videos are great. Twitter changed the feed a little bit last year so that the photos show up in the feed, so people don't have to click out of Twitter to see them necessarily. The only thing about Twitter is that there's a limitation to how long your tweet is, your post, 140 characters. So you might have to shorten some of the stuff that you might normally share on Facebook, but you can still share the same kind of things on Twitter that you would on Facebook. Again, you can ask questions. Yesterday was our 13th birthday here at VR, and we did trivia questions on Facebook and Twitter and gave away t-shirts to the winners. And we did that on Twitter as well as Facebook. And all people had to do was retweet or tweet to us with our handle, and then we could see their answers. So you can do things like that. Again, you can share other information that you find. Twitter also has tons of information just like Facebook. So if you follow a couple of companies or sources that you really like on Twitter, those are the kind of things that you can share in your Twitter feed. If people are talking about your business, you can thank them and do retweets. That way people know that you've seen their tweets. You need to tweet regularly. For Twitter, tweeting regularly means more often than Facebook. So you probably want to tweet at least once a day. The feed goes really fast. That Twitter stream is really fast. So tweet very regularly so that people can see what you're sending out. They also have business pages for Twitter. The business pages give you some more insight in how to use Twitter for your business, the same as Facebook pages do. The one thing that both of them do is that they really push their promoted posts, which is where you pay to have your post come up to the top, which is certainly something you can do if you want to, but you're not obligated to do that. So you can certainly ignore those if you want to. It's your business. You can decide what you want to do. But they have other tips besides, pay us and then we'll push it to the top kind of thing. But they are pretty helpful, a lot of the things. And they have, Twitter especially has different industries, and then they kind of go into case studies for the different industries on businesses that have been successful with Twitter. So if you're looking for some ideas, especially for that particular network, they have some for you. And Pinterest, I'm going to talk about Pinterest only because this one really has become super popular. And anyone can use this. All you need are pictures, for sure, but it doesn't matter if you're offering a service, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a retailer, you can use Pinterest. You can create all kinds of boards with different information. So it doesn't have to just be your products. You can have different things going on there. You can share your emails on Pinterest. I have a screenshot here of how to do it from VerticalResponse. You just have to pin that URL and then you can pin your email. We do that all the time on our Pinterest boards. We pin lots of things. We pin our blog posts and we pin our emails and we pin our infographics and we pin our guides. So a lot of the stuff that we do, we put on Pinterest, and you can do that too. Including a pin it button in your email so your readers can share what you have on their Pinterest boards. You want to pin regularly. Pinterest just started in the last 2 months, 3 months, started doing their own kind of promoted posts where they're like suggested posts. So the feed is moving a little bit more than it was. But you can still post a couple times a week on Pinterest. It doesn't have to be a daily thing unless you really get a lot of traction on Pinterest. You just want to make sure your pins are coming up for the people following you when they go into Pinterest. Pinterest obviously requires pictures. You just need to have lots of really great pictures that you're sharing. And again, they've set it up a lot more in the last year for businesses, so you can actually sell your products. You can have a price. People can click to your website and purchase or make a donation, whatever you're doing. And they also have a business page for businesses. They also have business accounts. So if you set up your Pinterest account more than a year ago, they have information on how to change it to a business account, because then you get the analytics. So you can see what pins people like the best, what ones they're sharing, what ones they're favoriting, so that you can keep putting out that kind of information. It's pretty important for a business. So the analytics are kind of cool, but you have to have a business Pinterest account and not just the regular one. So the important thing is that you need to promote across all of your marketing channels. Wherever you would normally do that, you just need people to know that you are on these different social networks and where they can find you. Obviously, including that information in an email is really important. Have your Facebook button, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Google+, wherever your company is, include those buttons in your email so that people can follow you. You can do like us campaigns, or campaigns where you drive your readers to your social accounts. The other thing is that you want to give them a reason, and this is the same for your email as well as for your social marketing. Just asking people to follow you on Facebook or just asking them to sign up is not always enough. It depends on the people you're targeting. Give them a reason to sign up for your email. Give them a reason to follow you on Facebook. What information are they going to get if they follow you on Facebook that they don't get from your email, and vice versa? Think about how people are going to be getting information from you and what the information is going to be, and share that with them so that they say, oh, of course I want to get this information. So I promised some examples, so let's take a look at all of these things together. So first of all, use your social media in every email that you're sending out. That will help get people to find you on the different networks that you're on. It also can help you grow your business, grow your mailing list, and give people a reason. But here's an example of some different social buttons in an email. The very top ones are social sharing, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide. And then also there's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google+. So you can get whatever buttons you need and add those into your email. so people can find you on those different ones. And make all of your, I didn't realize that had moved, make all of your emails shareable. And it isn't just sharing on social networks, but yes, you want to be able to allow people to share your emails on social media. So these buttons here will allow the person reading this email to share it on Facebook or on Twitter so that the people following them can see it. These allow your readers to find your accounts on those. So there are two different types of social buttons, and they do two different things. So allow your readers to share it. Include a forward to a friend link. Because that's also a shareable thing. That can help people share your email. You can track it if they use a link in your email, and it can help grow your mailing list. These are some examples of a refer a friend. So that's something that you can also do to encourage people to share your emails. They have a send a friend in this one, and their social sharing buttons. So allow your readers to share your content. Don't stop them. So here's a couple more examples. So as I said, you can use a social invite email, and I would do this a couple times a year to see how many people you get the first time especially, but just to get new people coming to your social accounts and if you change anything up. So this company sent this email out, and they have a whole bunch of accounts. Again, you do not have to have this many. This is a big company. But they say what you're going to find on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Tumblr, and then they also have some videos on YouTube. So they're all over the place, but again, you can just pick the ones that are going to work for your business, but they give you reasons why you should follow them on all of those different networks. And content in your email, as I said, can come from different places. This is coming from this particular company's social account. So you can post a question on Facebook like these guys did. They said, what's your favorite spots to vacation? And they posted that on Twitter and Facebook, and then they used the content from their social networks in their email. So that's really fun. You can post a fun question on your social accounts and use that in your email. That can help drive people to find you on social media and just see kind of the fun stuff that you guys do, and it kind of gives them more of the personality of your business. They also have a super fun social buttons at the bottom. It's a brewery, and they have these bottle cap buttons. Those are really fun. Those you can find on the internet if you do a search for social media icons. There's all kinds of them, including those bottle caps. This company has, this is their normal email that they would send out, and they included for Earth Day, for every fan that they got on Facebook, they would plant a tree. So they have their normal content, plus they include a little bit about social networks, and they have some reasons for people to become their fan. And then at the bottom of their email, they include links to their social accounts. Again, this is an example of a regular email with just why you should follow them on Facebook. So this one was really fun. It said, get our best baking secrets. Stop by your local store every day this week to receive a baking tip. Can't make it to the store? Then like us on Facebook. So they shared the same information on Facebook that you could get in the store. And that drove me to follow them on Facebook because I couldn't get to the store. But this was just a small piece of their email. There was a lot of other information. So again, you can have your social information in the email. It doesn't have to be a whole email. It can just be part of your email. And then these guys always have links where people can share their recipes in the emails. So you can share the recipe on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. They have a pin it button. You can print it out if you want to. But that makes it easy for the person reading this email to get to those social networks and share that recipe or save it on Pinterest. So just to wrap up, keep your readers in mind when you're creating your emails and when you're creating your social posts. What is it that they're interested in? How much time do they have to spend looking at your email, looking at your posts? Keep it easy to read, keep it short, give them links, include images for any of those because images are very engaging. You do not need to invent something new all the time for your content in your emails, for your social. You have lots of things going on, and you can share the same things on all the different networks. People are in different places, so they may not see your posts on Twitter if they're not on Twitter. You don't have to be on all of the networks. There's tons of them out there, as you saw in that social invite email. But you just need to be where your customers are. And like I said, Facebook is a good place to start, and then you can do a little testing, check out if there's people talking about your company on Twitter. They probably are, or at least your industry, so you can become part of that conversation. Make sure you're thinking about your social when you're managing your emails and vice versa, because the content in both of them can be shared, as we saw in the steam whistle email. It makes for good content. Your email can be content for your social accounts. Your social conversations can make for content in your email. So think about all of that and about people sharing your email on these different networks as well. So as I said, I have some resources for you. We do have the free buttons. So if you want to make the call to action buttons, we have that site for you, buttons.verticalresponse.com. It is free. You don't have to do anything. Just put in the text you want your button to say. You can pick the color, you can pick the shape, and we'll make the button for you. We also have a lot of resources for you on our website. The easiest way to get there, you don't have to write down this link. I mean, you can, but is just go to Vertical Response and click on the tab that says Resources. And we have guides and we have recorded webinars, and they are all free. So these are some that I recommend from what I talked about today. 8 email marketing basics to remember. That kind of takes you through some of the things that I talked about earlier when I was talking about the email marketing, the from label and the subject line. Simplify social media for your biz. That probably sounds really enticing. Email marketing reporting basics. So once you send out your email, taking a look at your reports and figuring out what's going well, what you need to change. And then email plus social media equals success. That's another guide. So those are all guides, but there are also some videos as well. So if you're still trying to figure out social media, for example, we have some webinars on using Facebook for your business, using Twitter for your business, using Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Google+. So if you're trying to figure out, what's going to work for you, there's lots of videos or lots of webinars and guides to help you with that. And then the VR marketing blog is available. It has tons of marketing information for you. This is not about vertical response. This is about marketing for businesses. So it covers a lot of things, email and social marketing, but other things as well. We publish about 4 times a week. Which is a lot if you have to write those blog posts, but for people who are reading, there's tons of information there. So you can go find what you're looking for on our blog. Again, all of this stuff is free, so if you need help with something, we have something there for you.